Module 1 provides us a historical context for the state and the region's growth and development with respect to population and employment. What we touch upon are sort of three main aspects in this module. What has been the recent growth this decade since the time of the Census 2000, what has been the longer-term pattern since about 1900, a little bit more details about the rapid growth that has taken place since 1970 and an upturn in the pace and size of growth in the state. And all of this is providing a context and background for leading into the projections for the future. That recent rapid growth has to be seen within a longer-term context to appreciate perhaps what will be the long-term future. So in our first slide in this brief introduction to our module, what I want to show you is where Georgia fits compared with other states since the time of the Census 2000 with respect to population growth. Georgia's population increased by 1.5 million. That's in terms of absolute growth rather than rate of growth. And this slide deals with the absolute growth in all of the states. Leading the parade with substantial growth in population is Texas, followed behind by California and then Florida. And Georgia in fourth place, following those three large, major growing states. Close behind Georgia in population growth is Arizona. Then what we've done is to list our neighboring states. North Carolina is also a rapidly growing state, sixth in terms of absolute growth since the time of the Census 2000. And then down further on the graph, you see Tennessee, which ranks 11th in terms of absolute growth, South Carolina 15th, and Alabama 25th, right about in the middle of the pack. So Georgia has been one of the leading areas, one of the leading states of growth in the nation this decade. Population does not grow on its own, and there's always this chicken and egg question about population growth and employment growth. The employment growth, similarly, Georgia's employment growth ranked it fifth in the nation in terms of adding total numbers of jobs. Texas, number one, Florida, second in terms of adding jobs, and California. Those three far out in front of everyone else. Then Arizona and Georgia, neck and neck in terms of adding jobs to the employment picture within their state. North Carolina, closely behind the seventh greatest number of jobs, increase in number of jobs in the country. Followed by Tennessee in 16th, South Carolina in 18th, and again, Alabama down around 20th in terms of employment growth. In order to make long-range forecasts into the future, we should have some appreciation of what has been a longer-term historical trend. And so this last slide in this introduction to Module 1 that I want to share with you is one that shows both population and employment changes in the state. The population numbers, the census is conducted every 10 years, and so we have a very good historical record of population growth in the state. And you can see that from about 1900 to 1970, at the beginning of that last century, growth was very slow. There was a lot of net out-migration of folks from Georgia and the South in general to other parts of the country. That started to turn around. The state's population began to increase slowly. And around 1970 is sort of a watershed that population, the pace of population growth increased, that the employment picture and the data that we have come to us from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, and their series tracks total employment beginning in 1969. So we add that to this graph, and you can see this relationship between population growth and employment. Rapid increase in employment growth, picking up pace since 1970. So again, this module, we're laying out a historical context to gain some appreciation not only for the recent rapid growth period, but the longer term picture as we look long range into the future for population and employment growth in the state and the regions.